This homemade self-propelled wheelbarrow that I made probably about 5, maybe 6 years ago. Try and get this all in one video if I can. If there's something I don't cover, so many different little things on here, just feel free to ask any questions. I'm more than willing to ask. I'd come up with the idea. I had the need to have something like this for a particular job that I was doing, and I'd kicked the idea around for a while, and I had this tractor that was an extra tractor that was given to me, and I got it running, and this thing started life as a Scott's garden tractor. They were sold by Home Depot. It's hydrostatic. I repurposed most of the stuff that was on here. There's some things on here. The rebar I made for the one steering support. Let's see, there's some angle on here that I used for the tub up there, and some flat stock for the hinge for the tub. A little piece of square stock where I extended the steering, and a piece of plate in the back that I made where you stand, and different things like that. So we'll just get started with it. The tractor had an issue with the gas tank on it. It had cracked. It was real lightweight anyhow. That gas tank there came off of a little piece of construction equipment. It's called a jumping jack. I had that fashioned on the tractor, and then when I made this, I just fashioned it back over to this and just made it work. Basically what I did, let's see where to start. Of course, the engine was up front here. You can see where the pulley went down through that hole right there. Basically just rotated the engine, moved it back, and drilled new holes and bolted the engine down back here. I repurposed the pulleys and things like that. And oh, let me look underneath. I don't know if you can see anything there. There's an idler pulley. Everything was there. The springs, all that was on here. I just reconfigured, did a little heating and bending, and might have done some welding and reshaped things to make them work. The only thing I had to do was I just cut the old belt and made it fit. Had to play with belts a little bit. I think the one that I have on here now, you can see it's kind of deep in that groove, and I go through them a little quick. So it's a 8 cubic yard wheelbarrow tub on here. When that thing's full, and I've overloaded it, I've worked in tight spots. We used a little mini excavator, and I've loaded it with that to get the dirt out because you couldn't get a skid steer in, and just it was too tight. I've really used this thing a lot, and with all the extra weight, it has it overloads the belt, but it pulls good. I've got a video of me riding around on it that I'm going to post up after this, and it pulls pretty good. It'll pull the front wheels off the ground. It's a hoot to run. It's hard not to goof off on it. But anyhow, so that's where the engine was. This was just the original steering shaft, and all I did was I cut the shaft, and I used this little piece of square stock, inserted the shaft in this end, welded it on, got this idea here, saw it on YouTube, and made my own U-joint, and it's just a little slug of 3/4 inch round bar, and I just got my holes drilled just a little bit apart, and just made my little yoke, and another piece of square stock welded on the other end of the shaft, and just use a little piece of, I guess, plumbing pipe. I can't remember. It looks like it's probably 1/2 inch, and made that bushing, welded it to it, drilled through, put a little grease fitting in there. If I'd thought more, I'd have made my clevises bigger, and I could have put a grease fitting on each end of it, because as you turn it, I'm sorry if I'm not doing good. I'm just, you turn it, you could grease that end, and then as it rotates around, you'd be able to grease that end. But the yoke is not deep enough, and it doesn't permit room. I might be able to get a grease fitting in there. Might. It'd be close. It just, you know. But that would have been greasable too. I did the same up here. It's basically a bushing with a washer welded on there for a stop. And I just drilled through, tapped it, put a grease fitting in it. So that's greasable. So that's how I was able to move the steering back. The gas tank, I made just little, looks like 1-inch angle brackets, and then just some flat stock, and I kind of cobbled it together with some metal shims. They use these for shimming the I-beams when they frame a house, and they put the I-beams inside the foundation, and then they frame upon that. These are just shims that they're always laying around. I pick them up, I bring them home, and I have a lot of that stuff laying around. So I just made that, transferred the wiring harness over, simplified it a little bit, and got rid of some of this, you know, all the safety stuff. Cut my hole, and the way the engine was positioned, the wiring harness fit in there. The throttle cable has a nice smooth loop to it, and that all worked, and was able to get everything fastened down. I'm trying not to talk too fast, and talk loud enough so that this can people can understand what I'm trying to say and do with this. So just fashioned some angle iron on there, made the supports for the little step. This was all the original drive line. I just shrunk everything up and moved everything in. This rod went down, was hooked to the foot pedal, and that would have done forward and then reverse. I just rebent the rod, used pieces from some other rod, and fashioned everything together. And that grip was on the original tractor. The little disc brake down here, I just took 2 short pieces of bicycle cable, and it works out real well. I just butted them together. There's a joint right there. Just, I don't know, hillbilly engineering, duct taped it together to hold it in place, and then zip ties, and welded a little bracket all on here. And sorry, had to weld that on there, and that gets the brake going. And I took the lever for the brake, and just I think I got something hot and ran it through, made that hole, and then just fastened that over the hose clamp. And then I use this hook from a bungee cord. You can pull the clamp and clip it on there, and that's kind of like the parking brake. And then you pull it, and it pops off, and that releases the brake. And when you're driving it, you can just use one finger, and that'll apply the brake. So the steering works really well. The tub, it's just angle iron I welded together. It's all angle iron. I put these supports on here. This is where a lot of the weight is bore. When you load it, I made a grease fitting in here. All it is just a piece of tubing that I welded a nut to, and put the corresponding pipe thread into it. I'm sorry, grease fitting into it, and just a piece of round stock, and I welded that tab, and that's the bolt lock. You take that bolt out, and the rod will come out. And I did that in case later on down the road wanted to put different attachments on there. The pulley for the deck drive is still here. Could be run up and build a bearing boss and have a hub of some sort there. Pop that bolt out, pull the pin, take the tub off. I don't know, I figured something for like a grass seeder to run one of them, or could also have a platform. I've got a 15-gallon tank that has a quick plug on it that has a electric sprayer that you could use as a garden sprayer. But that's what I had originally intended on, making different attachments for it. I just never got that far with it. So do a little walk around here, kind of see it. And at my video, like I say, that I'll post up behind this. There may be some things that I'm missing on this, but I've covered most of the bases on it. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I had the idea. I know we call them Georgia buggies. There's other words for it. That's, you know, our region, that's what we call them. It's basically a self-propelled wheelbarrow. There's a lot of them out there. I did a lot of Google searching on it just to see what they are, what they cost, how practical would it be for me to spend time building it, or should I just buy one? Basically, I really don't have anything in this. The tractor was already here. I had it. I did put a voltage regulator on it because it wasn't charging, a new battery, a little bit of rebar that I had, a bunch of other stuff was repurposed that I had. I only bought a little bit of angle for it. The wheelbarrow I had, I don't know if I mentioned that. I really don't have anything in it. I have about 40 hours of cutting, welding, and fabricating. I did get it going. I stripped everything down, got the engine on it, scabbed the belt on it, and just jerry-rigged it up so I could get it going back and forth to see if it was proof of concept. And once I was able to do that, I went ahead and proceeded the rest of the way to finish building it. And believe it or not, this thing right off the bat, when I put it together, worked great from the start. My belt tensioner wasn't holding enough tension on it, and I had to modify that a little bit. And like I say, now I've abused it pretty good, and I've gone through a couple of belts. It probably could use one step up wider. I think that's a 1/2 inch belt. It could probably go to a 5/8 and would do much better. But other than that, I haven't had any problems. The tub's cracking, but the tub is old, and like I say, I've abused it, so that's not all the fault of that, but that could be modified a little bit too. And so I just wanted to share this because I did look on YouTube, and there are a handful of self-propelled wheelbarrows out there, and a lot of different ideas, and it really helped me out. And I don't know, I hope this helps somebody else out. It worked really well for me. Appreciate you all watching.